Well, that was, again, I thought a really good effort by our team today, coming off the short week. Really, those guys did a really good job getting ready for the game. I thought we were able to start fast and play with good tempo early. 3 turnovers in 3 plays was pretty good there for the defense. And I thought we played well in the kicking game. Had a couple good field position plays, good hit on punt coverage, almost got another ball out, and made some big plays offensively. A couple of big pass plays down the field to Phil, screen pass, and we're able to play from ahead in this game, which was a good thing. So this guy's really grounded out this week. Like I said, had a good week of preparation. Thought we were well prepared for the game. Played a tough game. Cleveland's a very explosive team, and they certainly gave us some problems. Both sides of the ball, but in the end, the turnovers. And our opportunity, our ability to capitalize on those was really good, and kind of the difference. Really excellent, great play by Hightower. Coming out on the strip fumble, and Van Noy played that play well, and so it was again good team defense. So good to be 8-0. We know the Ravens been off for a couple weeks, so they're by. I'm sure they'll be ready to go. It'll be tough next week, but good to get this one.
Raise your hand and Mike will read pass to you. It's Tom Keaton, right?
You just won your 300th game. Just curious, how quickly do you turn your attention to trying to get number 301?
Yeah, pretty quick. It's a great privilege to coach this team and to coach the guys that I've coached throughout my career. Fortunately, I didn't play in any of those games. That's a good thing for us. But I've had a lot of good players, a lot of great players, and they're the ones that win the games. And I've had a lot of great assistant coaches on my staff through the wins at Cleveland and certainly here. So, I was a part of those, but honestly, the players win games in this league, and I've been fortunate. I've coached a lot of great ones.
Tom Curran?
Bill, I'm sure you don't want to belabor too much the accomplishment, but I did want to ask, is there a particular emotion? Is it somewhat humbling? You mentioned the players right away, and you've talked in the past about how hard you can be to play for, how difficult it is, how much you ask of players. Rainy day like today, or as efficient as you are, I wonder if that's what your emotion is, if any, on this.
Yes, look, it's always good to win. It's good to beat Cleveland. It's good to beat anybody. It's a tough league to win in. So, proud of what the guys did. Proud of what this team accomplished today, and but we got bigger goals ahead, and we know the Ravens are going to be tough next week. They don't care about this game or what I did or what anybody else did. So, we're going to have to turn the page quickly and move on to Baltimore.
Hi, Bill. Congratulations on number 300. Just
Thank
talk
you.
about Jonathan Jones' play he did in the first quarter there.
Yeah, it was a great play. John's really fast. He plays with great effort all the time, and he's made so many big plays for us in the 4 years that he's been here. But that was a tremendous play. He just tracked Chubb down and timed the slap perfectly. And I'm not even sure who got the ball, but it was getting it out was half the battle, and then recovering it was the other half the battle. But I thought the defense as a team, our effort, hustle on that play, really speaks to the level of commitment that those guys have out there for each other and for the team. So you chase a back like Chubb 50, 60 yards downfield, knock the ball out and recover it, and it was a huge play, kind of a demoralizing play, but it ended up being a big play for us, and it really just goes to their competitiveness and their effort. It was a great play by John.
Dan Boland? Two quick ones.
How did Sanu do this week, cramming and fitting in and learning everything?
Good. He worked really hard. He spent a lot of extra time with everybody, especially Joe and Troy. But obviously Josh, Tom, and other receivers, Phil and Jules, and those guys. So, but he worked hard, and I thought he gained a lot of ground on the offense. Hopefully, he'll be further ahead next week. But glad he's here, and hopefully he'll be able to continue to contribute for us.
Just wanted to ask you about the offensive line. Obviously, a lot of guys going in and out. Just how do you feel about the state of the offensive line right now? And were you kind of proud of the guys, at least having some new faces in there and still?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good defensive line right there. They're good inside and they're good outside. I'd say great outside, probably as good as anybody. We will play, certainly anybody we have played. They're tough, but our guys battled in there, and it wasn't perfect, but we stood in there and battled with them. James stepped in for Shaq, and it was big for us. And Ted's done it all year, and Marshall's done it for Isaiah. So you got to give those guys a lot of credit. They work hard, they're tough, and they keep fighting. Like I said, it's not perfect all the time, but it never will be against a defensive line like that. They compete hard.
Bill, it's not every day you see a 3rd and 10 screen pass go for 59 yards in a big spot in the game. What did you see on the play call from Josh McDaniels and also the execution?
Yeah, it's a great call. They're in man coverage, and linebacker got picked off going across the field on the screen, and James made a great run. We had some good downfield blocking too. That probably added another 15 or 20 yards, I don't know, to it, something like that. So it was well executed. We worked hard on the screen game all year. We've had some big plays on it. Certainly that was a big one, key time in the game. Really changed obviously changed the field position. Gave us gave us an opportunity to get ahead early in the game, which was good.
Nick O'Malley?
Bill, how much of an effect did the rain have on today's game? And specifically, how does when it's raining all day like it did today, how different does the rain have an effect on when it's a turf field where it's more of a slick condition, or as opposed to a grass field as like in Washington or Pittsburgh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it would, I'll just stick to this field because what it was today, it was so because of the rain all afternoon, the field was very wet, and I'd say it was slick. So footing was a problem. Certainly, ball handling was an issue, and it was tough. It was tough in pregame warmups. A lot of, I would say, mishandled balls. I noticed some by them, definitely by us. Kicking was an issue. The wind was, I think, stronger in the first pregame warm-up in the part of the first half, maybe first quarter, than it was after halftime. After halftime, really wasn't bad. It seemed like kind of a light drizzle. The wind kind of died down. I didn't think it was much of an advantage. It blew more towards our sidelines. That affected the direction of the punting a little bit and kicking, but overall, I thought it was minimal in the second half. First half, I thought it was a big factor. It was hard to handle the ball, hard to catch it, hard to tackle. We missed some tackles, and it's always hard to tackle when you're wet and the guy you're tackling is wet, and especially when he's a good runner like Chubb, who's strong and physical and can run through some of those tackles. So he did a good job of that, and but it was definitely a factor in the game, no question about it.
Last question in the back.
Coach, we know you often send your best corner to cover their second best receiver, and double team their best. Today, obviously, Gilmore is on OBJ a lot for most of the time. Are there any particular matchups that you like? Can you explain a little bit about your game plan in that area?
Yeah, well, each week we game plan our personnel and scheme for our opponents, and what we do against one team and what the matchups are and so forth might have a lot to do with who they have and the scheme that they use, and also what type of game plan we're going to have as well. So, we can, do that differently. We do it differently from week to week, or even sometimes within the game, depending on what those circumstances are. So, but Steph's a great competitor. I love Steph. He always wants whatever the biggest challenge is. Whatever you need me to do, whatever the biggest challenge is, put me on that player in that situation, and I'll give you my best and be ready to go. And so I love that about him. He's very, very competitive, and will take on whatever challenge we want to give. So will everybody else. I mean, they all will. Jason and John, JC, whole secondary. But Steph has a lot of confidence, as he should, and he's ready to match up to anybody we need to match up against. So I thought he played well today. All right, thank you very much.
Tom Brady is next. Patriot head coach Bill Belichick. Before that, Tom Brady.
Hello.
Start here with Mike Reese and then Tom Curran. Go ahead, Mike.
A little bit about how you've enjoyed football history this year in different ways, with Bill getting the 300th win. I'd just be curious your thoughts on sort of the significance of that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. 300 wins is pretty spectacular. He's, best coach of all time, and it's a privilege to play for him. For as many years as I have, he's taught me so much, on and off the field. It's just been a great mentor for me. And, being here 20 years ago was his first year, it was my first year, and it's been a great journey. And, just proud of him, everything he's accomplished. And, amazing to think that he coached for another place and they didn't think he was good enough, and then he comes here and does a great job. So it's a great celebration for him, and certainly hard-earned, well-deserved, and only better than 300 is 301. So we'll be back at it this week.
Hey, Tom, you talked last week about Bill's competitive spirit and his ability to just maintain consistency for 20 years every time.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you about that just one more time, and also his ability to be on the details, and whether it's a preseason game or a practice, has that influenced how you approach your life and how you'll pass things on? Because it seems as you can't help but have it influence you somehow.
Yeah, definitely. He's had a big influence on me, and he's taught me about pro football. He's taught me about leadership and consistency, dependability. All the things that I think he really preaches to us as a player is what we get out of him as a coach. And his consistency, dependability, trust, confidence, all those things over a long period of time really add up. So he's just a very stable figure when he gets up and speaks to us. It's about trying to win games, and I think we all appreciate that.
Tom, what were your first impressions of Mohamed Sanu in the offense today after he'd been here for only about a week?
Yeah, it's I think we're just going to try to find ways to keep incorporating everybody. He worked really hard this week to really get up to speed and to play as much as he did. And I think it's just going to be more and more confidence as he keeps going. So he made a huge catch for us on 4th down, had a good crosser that he made a nice catch on. So keep just trying to find ways to get on the ball.
What was it like out there between the weather and the Cleveland Browns? What kind of a struggle was that today?
It was pretty, it's tough weather conditions, and, we got off to a fast start, which was good, but at the same time, we could find ways to do a better job. So just try to get back at it this week, and it was our first time playing in that weather in a long time, but glad we got the win.
Tom, how impressed are you of your defense, and what's it like seeing them force 3 turnovers in the first quarter?
They're amazing, what they're doing and how they're, getting that ball off the other team. It's just they got good players at every level, and they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, put a lot of pressure on the running back. I know that offense has a lot of good skill players, but it's great to see them come out, start fast, and get ahead.
Tom, how much did you guys need that 59-yard screen pass to James? And what were you thinking when you saw it was called on 3rd and 10, and what did you see how it unfolded and everything?
Yeah, we need every yard we can get out there. So it was a great call by Josh and great execution by the O-line, and James is a great screen runner. So just a great play, good timing. Last one.
Throwing a ton of touchdown passes, but what's it like for you throwing touchdown passes on the run when you got to scramble and make those plays?
I haven't had quite as many of those, but it was good. Jules found a little sweet spot in there, and glad I was able to get it to him. And he made a great, 2 really good catch and runs, kind of near the goal line. It was, great plays by him. So, all right, thank you guys.
We'll pass the mic to you.
Jonathan Jones on the long run by Chubb. When you guys are in that situation where you're chasing down a defender, how do you balance trying to prevent the touchdown by getting the guy to the ground and trying to make a play and trying to punch the ball out?
Jay Jones made a hell of a play. I think a lot of that stuff is instincts. We do a lot of tackling and turnover type things at practice, and obviously it's paying off. Try not to be put in that predicament too many times, but obviously what we do at practice, game time, practice execution becomes game time reality, and that's definitely a big shot at that.
Dante, Chubb was able to get a few yards today. You're playing the Ravens next week, the NFL's best rushing defense. How do you feel about where you guys are as far as the ground game?
Obviously can do better. Chubb's a great back, arguably one of the best in the league, if not the best. And they obviously had a good couple of plays, whether it's pulling guards or some scheme runs. And obviously, Baltimore's a good rushing team, like you said as well. But we'll just have to get in on film tomorrow, get things corrected, and just try to move forward.
Dante, how much does this defense take pride in saying the tempo, getting out to 17-0 lead after one quarter, and just walk us through your touchdown?
That's we want to be aggressive on defense. That's just kind of our mentality. It's worked for us so far. Obviously there's plays that we've given up and corrections and stuff, but this part of football, there's no perfect play. Freddie Kitchens had some good plays called up and dialed up, but as far as the touchdown goes, not sure how it came out. I haven't really seen it, but just again practicing the turnover opportunities that we get at practice, scoop and score, all that stuff. I mean, it comes up in practice and it comes up in games, so just trying to take advantage of that.
Dante, how do those 3 turnovers in the first quarter of the game impact the momentum of the game for the defense? How much momentum does it create, and how does that last throughout the game?
I think any time that we're able to get the ball and take it away from the offense and give the ball to our offense, it's a benefit for us. Even better when we're able to get it and score or get it and change field position. Definitely helped us a few times a day, especially on the Chubb run. He made a really good run and broke some tackles. But those turnovers, got us out of there, and it helps us a lot. But obviously, it's something that we like and something that we pride ourselves on, and something that we're going to continue to do.
Last question, Mike.
Dante, Bill Belichick gets his 300th win career, regular season, postseason today. You played for him, obviously. Nick Saban before that. What are your thoughts on that accomplishment for him?
I just think it's crazy, like Chase and Shalik, a lot of us were just kind of talking while, Kraft was giving his speech about it, and, I couldn't name one thing that I did 300 times, and for him to get 300 wins at this level, I think he says it a lot, and about, how hard it is to win in this league, and for him to do it 300 times, and the way that he's done it is partially speechless.
You talk about crazy. When you break down the film of that dance after the touchdown, what's that going to look like?
Hopefully fun, man. The whole boogeyman ordeal thing, like that was like a little fun thing for us, and it kind of got blown out of proportion. But I mean, it's something that we do at practice. We have fun. We continue to work, and we're successful while we're doing it. So hope we keep our foot on the pedal on that. All right, thank you.
Raise your hand if you have questions. We'll pass the mic to you. Jacob Allen.
Devin, the Browns passing game, I think the only major downfield play they had, especially to Odell Beckham, was that long play where they went into double coverage. Was that a big part of the game plan, trying to take away the shots downfield that from Mayfield to Jones and Landry and Beckham?
Yeah, I mean, but I think it was more of an awareness thing. Like, we didn't come in and change our game plan, but we knew, behind Kansas City, they have the most big plays. But it really comes from the pass game and the run game. So we talked about that all week, limiting the big plays, not giving it up in one play. But again, the credit goes to our corners. And I think obviously the weather has some effect. Early in the game, it was hard to just drop back and just throw the ball deep. And I think being able to create some turnovers early in the game changed it a little bit. But I think, those guys did a great job of making sure, when they went vertical, staying on top of our guys, playing good coverage, whether it was man or zone, everybody doing their job.
Hey, Devin, was you surprised at John Speed there, catching Chubbs there at the end?
Nah. Jay Jones, one of the fastest guys in the locker room. So, I saw him, I felt him coming from my right. He did a great job. And that's something as DBs, I think we all think about. When we're running, we know we can catch guys from behind. And, when you do that, he did a great job, just ball awareness. That was his second play of the season, just being able to attack the ball. So, you give up a big play like that. It was a great play by Jay Jones. And then, at the pile, everybody protecting me and coming up with the football, so you don't have to give all that effort and then go back and play defense.
Putting a list together, explaining how the team has gotten to 8-0 Would 25 forced turnovers be at the very top of that list?
Yeah, that's something we always talk about, turnover ratio. You know, us turning the ball over, our offense protecting the ball, a lot of times that's going to lead to wins. So it's rare you come out of the game plus in a turnover ratio and you lose. So that's something that we're always thinking about. We want to attack the football, and especially as a team getting off to good starts, you know, offensively, defensively, being able to go out there early in the game and make our plays, I think puts us in the driver's seat a little bit and puts a lot of pressure on our opponent. So that's something we got to continue to work at, you know, and try to get that advantage each week.
Devin, Dante was just talking about how crazy it is that Bill has won in this league 300 times. What does he do to inspire you week in, week out? I mean, this is a grind, obviously, the NFL season, but obviously he is one of the greatest in history. What is it about his coaching style over the years that inspires players like you to play at your best?
I know for me, in my opinion, there's two things. It's consistency. You know, he comes to work every day the same way. You know, his expectations don't change. It doesn't matter who the player is. It doesn't matter what situation. He's going to always remain consistent. And then I think his ability to give ownership to the players. There's a lot of times for us as defenders, we go out there and, you know, he'll tell us, like, hey, you got 5 different options right here. Whatever you see best, you know, by formation, by personnel, make the call. And, you know, and he's told, you know, whether it's myself, Duran, Pat, you know, who really makes a lot of calls, Hightower, Jamie, Bent, E-Rob, he tells us all the signal callers, 9 out of 10 times I trust you're going to make the right decision. So I don't want to tell you what to do and ruin the game. As he always says, coaches mess up games more than anything. And I think him allowing us to do that, for one, it makes us want to study and understand the game, to take accountability to our coaches, to our teammates. And then I think, too, it allows us to just play free. You know, go out there, study the game, and do what you think is necessary. And I think once you're able to do that, good or bad, it falls on us. And we take that responsibility. And I think that's why you see us playing so fast as a defense right now, because when something goes wrong on the field, like, we don't have to look to the sideline. We're sitting there talking to each other, I got to do this next time, I'll do that. And I think that enables us, no matter if we give up a play or not, to continue to just try to play good football.
Devin, I know he's on the other side of the ball, but were you impressed with Muhammad's ability to pick things up so quickly and contribute like he did?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I've seen it a lot, you know, my time here, you know, picking guys up. I still remember when Talib got traded here and came in, I'm like, man, this guy's about to go play a game with only a couple of days of practice. He gets a pick 6 in his first game, and I think the Patriots, you know, our front office does a good job of getting guys that want to be good football players and they want to help the team. And I think that's what Mo did this week, whether it was staying late, going home, studying, making sure that guys could count on him to go out there and execute. And, you know, being out there, I think for any guy, once you get out there, you're just playing football. And I thought he did a good job of that, playing fast and playing aggressive.
Hey, Devin, obviously you guys are 8-0, and the defensive numbers this year are pretty incredible. But a lot of people out there say, well, look who they played. They haven't played anyone yet. How do you feel about that statement or criticism?
Slate just said it, man. There's opinions and there's truth. And the truth is, however we played, the stats and all of that, that's what it is. You know, opinion is we probably not as good as people think and all of that. But I think for us as a defense, that hasn't changed. We've never been as good as people think. And we'll try to continue to win games, and people continue to say we're not as good. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is each time you step on the field is you could get a win. And I think for us, that's going to stay our focus. As a guy that's been here for 10 years now and as a captain, that's what I want to keep guys locked in on, not reading good news clippings or bad news clippings, but just staying focused on the truth and what we need to do each day to get better.
Equaled last year's. What's been the difference? What enabled you guys to elevate another level?
Probably this guy, Deron Harmon. I mean, no, I think it's just when you get in that kind of mentality and you're in it, you know, I think each time now we step on the field, it's like, all right, we got to get 2 or 3 turnovers each time. And I think it's not just interceptions, it's not just sack fumbles, it's just an awareness to hunt the football. And I think that's what we've done a good job of hunting the football and understanding when we watch film, like, hey, man, when this guy has the ball, he's loose with it. When this guy, so I think as a defense, we all know that. Each individual that steps on that field is aware of that, and then we go out and try to play to it. Do I have to take a question?
Yes, last question.
You didn't even
Woody.
think of a question.
Well, I already got a question. Who's the best looking guy on defense besides myself? Not you.
I'm just saying, when you got double trouble, all things go well. Is that it?
Thank you very much.